Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 19 of our Starfield gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on an admin note, the weather here is cold and dry, and as I mentioned on my Baldur's Gate live streams, it's causing me to cough a lot, my throat's dried out, and all that sort of stuff, so I'm going to try not to cough in your ear too much through the mic. I'm going to try and mute it, and so you don't have to hear it. If, however, you do hear it, or I accidentally leave my mic muted, which is known to happen sometimes, please feel free to let me know in chat, and I'll correct it as soon as I see it. So, other than that, I think we're fairly light on Starfield news. The roadmap was the big thing that we talked about last week during our live stream. You can go check out that live stream, the admin notes on that for more information about it. But nothing else changed so far. I'm getting ready to start off the new year, and I think that's good. So, for our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had been going through and finding powers, and I had mentioned that some of those powers were going to be rather far afield. And that is because of a mission that is going to be coming up here shortly. And we're going to have to do some repairs on the eye to get it working so that we can see farther through space, and as such, we're going to be venturing into systems that are a lot higher difficulty than the ones that we've been into so far. And I'd mentioned that while I was off stream, I was going to level up. And let's go ahead and jump in here. And we'll take a look at that real quick and just kind of explain where we're at. Okay, so don't worry about this. I was down here in the basement of the lodge, experimenting with something after I had finished all of my weapon upgrades. So, the first thing that we did was we opened up a new outpost. So my first outpost that we set up here on stream was at Linnaeus. I went and opened up a new one at Bessel. Now this is the most popular place to have your outpost simply because of the time dilation. The location that I have here that I've chosen here is fairly easy to find. There's actually a YouTube video that explains it, how to find it in detail. But this is one that I've used for quite a while, and we'll just go check it out here real quick. So, here we are. Now, you're going to see that we got Outpost Engineering and Outpost Management because I did transfer Lynn and Heller to this outpost. The two things that you're going to see right off the bat are we have advanced reactors. There are two of them here. And each advanced reactor is giving us 100 total power. Now, if we move here to advanced reactors, you can see the build requirements that are up there in the upper left hand corner. All of these things can be bought at either UC Distribution in Jemison in the commercial district, or they can be bought right across the walkway from it at Outland. The Vitinium fuel rods, tessine, superconductors, Rotosite magnets are going to be available there. The control rods, power circuits, and adaptive frames are also available at Outland. The lead is available at UC distribution. So the Bitinium fuel rods are by far the hardest to get, just because you need so many of them per reactor. They normally show up in groups of 4 or 5 at Outland. So if you want 3 reactors, that's 24 of them. You'd have to find them 4, maybe 5, or 5, maybe 6 times. And that's a lot of waiting for them to show up, because they are an exotic material, so they take a long time to appear at the shop. But they are available. You can find them. You just have to have some patience. So those 2 reactors fuel up everything that I have on the Outpost. So first is we always have a large pad with shipbuilder. That there are the requirements up there in the upper left-hand corner. You can only place 1 of these per outpost, but that'll give you the requirements up there for it. And then we have our extractors. Now, our extractors here, in placing these, I believe this is the aluminum. You can see that there's not a whole lot of the aluminum that's in my outpost boundary, so I can't place a whole lot of extractors in here. So I went with the industrial extractors. I'm limited to being able to place only 3 of them here, so I wanted to get the most drilling out of them as fast as I could, so I upgraded them to industrials. Now, if you have more space, it's actually more efficient to use the base level extractors and just more of them. The power requirement you can see for the base ones are 5. The power requirement for the industrial ones are 20, but the industrial ones do not extract 4 times faster. They extract 3 times faster. So you're spending more power to get less resources per tick generated out of the extractors. My problem is that I don't have space to put a whole bunch of regular extractors here inside of this small area, so I needed to upgrade these to the industrial ones, and that's going to hold true for all of the locations here. So first we have aluminum. We move over here to this side. We have, over here to this side, we have iron. And iron, there's even less room in here. I'm moving along the curve of the limit. So you can see I can barely get 3 in here at all. This one has to be shifted in some fairly strange orientations to get it between the rocks here. So I definitely had to go with the industrials here as well. Now there are 2 other minerals here. Cobalt, which is here. Cobalt, again, I'm on the outskirts of my outpost. You can see you can only fit 2 in here, extractors. So again, I needed to go with the industrial ones. And then we have nickel here. Now nickel, there's a lot more space here. I could have put a lot more nickel extractors in here, but it doesn't really matter because the things that you can craft use cobalt and nickel at the same rate. So if I was able to extract it faster on nickel, it would not mean I could necessarily craft more things. Okay. So then I placed some large storage boxes. Sure. These are the large storage here. So iron, aluminum, the only difference is that you need a lot of adaptive frames. If you place your iron and aluminum extractors and a couple of small boxes of storage, you can quickly get enough to craft adaptive frames. And you're going to need quite a few. I have, here you can see there's 14 large boxes here. There's another 6 here for 20. There's another 6 here for 26, and another 14, or another 12 over here or a total of 20 or 18 to 20. And for the large versions, you need 10. So you're talking a lot. You're talking 200 adaptive frames that you're going to need to craft just for the storage. So craft them up in a bulk here and get them all ready. But those are the only things that I have here are iron, aluminum extractors, cobalt, and nickel extractors, the storage for them, a couple of nuclear reactors, advanced nuclear reactors to power it all, and then I just have an outpost airlock and a hab here. So inside of the hab, and the other thing is it's fairly low gravity, so it's easy to get around here. So inside the hab, I just have a couple of crew stations. You only need one if you've got 2 people. If you're going to put more than 2 people here, you need 2. So I've got expansion capability. I've got 3 beds because I've got 2 people here. And a lot of times when you're trying to sleep at night, they will both be trying to sleep, so you want to have an empty bed available. And then all I have is an industrial workbench. That's it. Don't have any other workbenches. This outpost is purely for leveling up as fast as I can. The other good thing about the outpost is you can kind of see it here. I can look out the windows and I can see if my storage is full or not. All 6 of those are full. All 12 of those are full. All 12 of those are full. And I can tell that by the green indicators that are on them. So the first time you use it and you clear out all of your materials, you can rest for a couple of hours, get out of bed and go look and see how full your container system is. And that will let you know about how many hours you need to sleep each night to completely refill all of your containers. Now the reason Bessel is so good is because when you sleep, each hour is 57 hours of universal time. So normally with as much storage as you have here, you're going to have to sleep a long number of hours to get that thing completely filled up. Here, 8 local hours or 462 universal time hours completely fills up my storage. If I was on a 1-to-1 planet, I'd have to sleep 462 hours, and I can only sleep 24 hours at a time. So it would take a long time to be able to fill this up, and that's why Bessel is a place that is well utilized for leveling up. Now, we talked about the level up process, and it's the same here, so I'm not going to go into it very much, but you can craft adaptive frames using the iron and aluminum. However, when you run out of iron and aluminum, the nickel and the cobalt allow you to craft iso-centered magnets as well. So instead of running out of all your materials crafting adaptive frames and then having to sleep, you can then immediately move your iso-centered magnets up to the top row, craft up all of those, get more XP per craft because it's based on the value. This is 24, these are 36 to craft. So you can get even more XP per craft until you run out of nickel and cobalt. Then you can go sleep and refresh all your nickel and cobalt, all your iron and aluminum, and craft them over again. So you double up on how fast it is to level up your character. So there's also mag pressure tanks that you can craft using nickel and aluminum. However, we're already going to be using all of our aluminum for adaptive frames. And the nickel's going to be used for iso-centered magnets. So the mag pressure tank is listed here, but you never want to craft it. It's got a crafting value of 25, but if you use up all your nickel and aluminum, then you can't craft any adaptive frames or iso-centered magnets. Okay, so other than that, nothing else is available to craft here, but you do get 2 sets of crafts. So, how long did this take? So I said at the end of last live stream I was going to go off stream and I was going to set up this outpost and I was going to level up. It took me an hour and a half to gather all of the materials and to build the outpost here. So that was to gather the materials, get on my ship, fly out here, make an autosave in orbit, find the exact pixel location of where this outpost is sitting on this planet, drop down and build the outpost from scratch. So it took an hour and a half. So by 10:30, this outpost, after my last live stream ended at 9 last week, I was done with the outpost. Then I immediately started leveling up. And when I was done, I had something like 65,000 pounds of materials in my inventory. Now, when I started leveling up, I was... boy, that's a good question. I didn't think about that when I left. Let me actually check real quick. I'm pretty sure I can bring up real quick where I was at the end of the live stream. Let me see if I have... Okay, I do. I was level 47 at the end of the live stream. So I went from level 47 to level 80, and that took me an hour and 37 minutes. Now, it was painfully boring. You are literally sitting at a crafting station. You are hitting E twice and then your mouse button, E twice and your mouse button, and you're repeating that same function and then once you're out, then you go sleep for 8 hours, 8 local hours, and then you get up and do it all over again. So it was painful, but I went up 33 levels in that hour and a half up to level 80. And there's no need for you to be at level 80. The reason I was at level 80 is because I wanted to test some theories about superior weapons. So once I got to level 80, I then went back to Jemison and started upgrading my equipment. And that's going to get us here. So I picked up a superior version of the Trackers Alliance set. Now there are 4 sets that are the top tier of purchasable armor from vendors at superior or at any level. And that's Trackers Alliance, Mercenary, Bounty Hunter, and Explorer. Those 4 have the highest base stats of any purchasable armor in the game. There is armor that has higher stats depending upon when you pick it up. Like if you pick up the anti-Xeno suit above level 60 and you get a superior version, when you pick it up, the stats on it are going to be higher than these two. The same thing with the anti-Xeno suit. If you pick that up above level 65, the stats are going to be higher than these. But those are findable, special, unique armor suits. And you have to wait until you're above level 65 to get them for the stats to be maxed out, and then hopefully you get a superior version and not an advanced version. Here, these you can buy from the vendors, and if they don't show up in the vendor list, you can just leave, rest for 48 hours, reset their inventory, come back and do it again until it shows up. So at level 60, you are able to start seeing superior versions of armor at the vendors. So I needed to level up to at least level 60. Now, from my personal playthrough, I'm like level 67 or something, and I have not seen superior weapons. I've only seen advanced weapons. So I went and picked up advanced versions of the Beowulf, the Hard Target, the Mag Sniper, the Varun Inflictor, so that I'd have some high-powered versions of those weapons. And I leveled up to level 80 just to see if I would start finding superior versions of the weapons, and you do not. The consensus right now is that superior weapons are in the game code. They are listed there. However, they are either not implemented or they are labeled as advanced. They just have higher stats on them. So you may be able to go to a vendor and see an advanced Beowulf, and then a little bit farther down, or right next to it, see another advanced Beowulf that has higher base damage. And that's a superior version that's just mislabeled. Because the game code has it mislabeled, or labeled incorrectly. Now, I have not been able to find any of those, so I'm not entirely sure if they're mislabeled or they're just not implemented. But for right now, you cannot find superior weapons in the game. So I just went and bought the advanced versions of what I have, and then I modded them. I spent the same time modding these weapons to have the highest damage and the perks that I wanted out of all of them. So you can see my advanced mag snipers doing over 1,000 damage per shot. Then my Beowulf's doing 179, the hard target's doing 508, and the Inflictor here is doing a combined 400. Now, some of these, you can increase the damage. For instance, the Beowulf and the hard target are Combatech weapons. You can see it right on the side here. There is a whole set of magazines that increase the base damage of all Combatech weapons. And there are 5 Combatech magazines, and each one, it just says increases the range. I believe each one is a 5% bonus to damage. It might be slightly smaller than that. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head what my regular version of the Beowulf has, but it's well over 200. And the Commander's hard target is 620. So I think if I do that math, 620 divided by 508 gives me 122%. So yeah, I think each one of them is a 5% bonus jump for a total of 25% additional damage with Combatech weapons, which are these two. You can also get additional damage from other perks that or other skills that you have. These are ballistic weapons, so you're going to be gaining extra damage with this. They're rifles, so you're going to start doing up to 30% more damage with those. Then they're all scoped weapons. So we have scoped weapons do 50% more damage while using the scope. So you have some perks here that are going to add on to those as we continue to level these up. And you can see I've got 27 skill points that are free here. And that's so that I can finish leveling these up as we go. The other thing that I'm going to end up doing is leveling up my piloting skill. You need this to be able to unlock Class C ships, to be able to pilot them. And since we're in a Class A ship right now, the Star Eagle's not bad. It's just not all that great for late game. We definitely want to go steal an end game ship, but those are going to be Class C ships, so we're going to have to upgrade our skills for that as well. So that kind of brings you up to date on what I did off stream, and that whole thing took 3 hours of playtime to do. So it wasn't all that bad to get all the way up to level 80, and you don't even have to take it that far. You only really have to take it to level 60 with the current coding in the game to get the most advanced weapons and the most advanced armors in the game. So now we can take a look at what we're going to do. So Short-Sighted is the quest that's up next. So we need to talk to Vlad to locate some more temples, but first we need to go back to the Eye. to increase the amount of scanning range that we have, because right now we can't see temples and artifacts very far away.
You are entering United Colony space. Maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Scan complete. You are cleared to land at New Atlantis.
Okay, so we'll board here real quick.
Why can't I use the welder?
And it says we need to check in on everyone. So let's go around here first.
Hey, you mind helping me weld up some of these panels? I miss coming up here.
Okay, so he wants us to weld on the panel, but something behind it begins smoking.
Well, can't win them all, I guess.
And what you have to do to fix the equipment is going to vary depending upon which of the three companions you talk to.
Forgot to check the math on a few equations. The brain's long gone. Forgetfulness. You color the wrong wires. Station showing red. Nastier than I measured. Figured a few of the parts might be iffy, but this is going to take more than a span.
I won't leave you hanging, Vladimir. Cora and I can stay with you until the eye is back to 100%.
No need for the martyr's clothes, but I'm happy to have the help. As for you, while we're giving the eye the swords, need to tip your ear on another matter when you got the time.
Okay, so that's going to complete short-sighted.
Must confess, the hum of a grav drive.
And open up no sudden moves here.
Makes me feel alive.
Don't want to worry anyone, but we got more competition. Not Starborn, rival collector. Captain Petrov owns a salvager vessel called the Scow. Runs it like a palace of novelties. And he's got a new prize in his collection. Reached out through my hand-to-hands to see if we can do an honest swap. He says the rock ain't for sale for any price. Think we're gonna need a crowbar and bag for this one. Left the life of a jackabones behind myself. I know what I'm asking. But I see a clutch prize not up for the prying any other way. Not sending you lone hook on the job. I want Sarah with you on this one. You two will be foot to foot the whole way, so make sure you're ready.
Okay, so Sarah's going to be locked in as a follower if we continue on this way.
Catch a smile out there.
Okay, so Sarah Morgan's now my active companion. And now here we have a couple of things to kind of get ready for how this quest is going to work. So this quest wants us to...
There's something I'd like to discuss.
And I always forget this. My ship normally in my personal playthrough is not the Star Eagle anymore, so finding my way around this I have to kind of remember. Okay, so here if we look at it, we need to travel to a ship called the Scow to meet with this captain, Petrov, who has an artifact. Now, when you jump into Procyon, or actually wherever it is at, let me take that back here. Okay, so it is in Procyon here. When you jump into Procyon, you're going to have two options to deal with this ship. And you're going to have to either fight your way in or talk your way in. So you want to make sure that you have a persuasion setup going here to make sure that you're going to be able to talk your way in. However, there are some options depending upon where you are that make it easier. But I'm going to make sure that I have a paramour active here for that additional persuasion chance. And now I'm going to jump to Procyon, because if you try and fight the Scow in the Star Eagle, you're going to have a rough time of it.
You don't have business with the Scow. Our captain is not taking visitors.
Okay, so here you have two options. If you attack, you're going to need to disable the engines, and for that you're going to need at least one pip into the targeting skill. However, if you don't have ship targeting skill active, you're going to temporarily be given it during this to be able to disable the engines. It's kind of your introduction to disabling a ship. But I'm going to try and persuade. The persuasion check actually is fairly straightforward.
Captain's orders.
Okay, it's only 4 pips. We do have an auto persuade, so we could go right to 4, 5, or 6 and make this work, but let's try and do it the normal way.
The captain does love flatterers.
Okay, and another 2 will do it.
We could use the money. I don't know if you'll convince the captain, though. All right. I'll clear you to dock. Keep yourself out of trouble, or we'll have every hired gun in the cargo bay after you.
Okay, so now you just need to get within 500 meters and you'll be able to dock. So before you jump into the system, it's best if you do an autosave just in case you get extraordinarily unlucky with your persuasion attempt.
It's good to be back on board. There's something I need to talk to you about.
Okay, so inside here, remember, we have Sarah with us. So our stealth options are going to be a little iffy. Like I say, the stealth in this game can be a little buggy. Your followers aren't supposed to trigger stealth in a lot of these missions. And we saw that Walter Shroud didn't trigger stealth breaks even when he was walking right in front of guards on the mission to find that artifact. This is not necessarily the case. So you just need to be careful. And if you get seen, you get seen. Now I'm going to put on Sense Star stuff, because again, if you don't remember it, we can see all of the humans through walls. This is the Starfield version of Detect Life, Skyrim. And everything that you're going to find in here now is going to be steal, but again, you can steal this place blind as long as you're in stealth when you do it.
We'll let you on board. Thought Petrov was done hiring mosquitoes. Or maybe you're after something from the captain's collection.
Okay, so because I have a point in scavenging, I have another option here.
Yeah? What kind of salvage work you do? Ship? Ground battlefield? Or do you just skulk the back alleys picking through trash? Ugh, I hate running through a dead ship. Like sifting through a damn tomb.
Not to mention the constant threat of explosive decompression. Keeps you on your toes.
You're all right, scavenger. Go on ahead. Petrov's got a whole little alien zoo in the back. He's asking for trouble with those things. But the locks on the cages are pretty high-end. Thankfully. Strewn about all over. The good stuff's locked up in a vault for Petrov's own personal viewing pleasure. And before you ask, Petrov's the only one with the keys, so don't try bribing any of the crew. You'll just waste your money. Trade it for it. Some dusty hauling ore from the fringe. Was glad when he left. It's all shakes and muttering. Fine. Just ignore me then.
Okay, so we've learned a little bit about the fact that there's stuff kind of strewn all over this place. That you can take, that you can steal.
You want to talk
So,
to Petrov?
a lot of these locations here, though, you're going to have to do it while you're out of sight. And you'll need to look around because there are little additional passageways that are kind of off the beaten path, so to speak, to get you where you want to go to find those things. And you can do a lot of exploring around here, and again, utilizing your scanner to find out what's around. So there's crafting supplies, all that sort of stuff around here, credits laying around, more crafting supplies, more crafting supplies. So there's all sorts of stuff around here that you can end up picking up. You just have to find these little areas that are not necessarily on the beaten path for you. You just have to venture a little bit out to try and find them. Now, we're again going to want Sarah to kind of not be with us for a lot of this, because her stealth, like I say, is I don't ever want to try and count on it. So off here to the side, you can see we've got more crafting supplies sitting around here, and we have a door here. Okay, now this door is fine to open up. There's nothing special about it here. Right now, everybody is still not hostile towards you. Okay, but once you get to certain locations, you're going to find locked doors that are marked with the steel icon. If you are trying to pick these locks while you're visible, the guards are going to get angry at you. So you definitely want to be in stealth before you start picking them. But those master locked doors are what leads you to the, I guess the additional treasures or bonuses for them. And you only have to pick, I think, one of these. But first, we're going to kind of take a look around and see. This leads you back into that same room. Okay, and this leads you back down here where we came up the stairs and we went right. So this is a way that kind of leads you around here into those same two doors. And that's into this room here. This security room here that you can see. Make your way around here. You can see that we have a room over here. Has a whole lot of crates in it and a guard patrolling around here. So this is another one of those rooms that you can find a way to get into. And I don't think you'll be able to see it Yeah, you can't. So then, up here at the top. Now, once you get up here, you have a way that leads up here and a way that leads up there. And you also have other little rooms. Now, again, inside all of here, feel free to walk around and look at stuff. But if you steal anything, again, they're going to be upset with you. So you have some rooms here that have their living quarters and that sort of stuff in them. Again, nothing special in these per se. And then you have, again, up and down here. Down leads you here into this room. Now in here you've got a guard there that you're going to have to deal with. Right here is the aux weapons key. This key is one of the keys that you're going to need to get into those locked rooms. You can obviously pick your way in with the master if you have the master lockpicking skill. If you don't, you can find the key. Now the key here is not marked as steel. Okay, somebody is upset at something, and it's not us. But we are marked as hostile, so we're just going to wait this out. Picking up that key does not do that. Not normally, anyway. But if they come down the stairs over there before we clear this, then they're going to see us and start shooting again. If we've angered the guards, it's not a big deal. Because I end up killing all the guards in here anyway. So somehow this guy died.
It's time.
Okay, so yeah, we did not do this. Somehow this guard died and it angered all of them against us. We did not shoot him. We didn't do that. But somehow it's angered the ship. So we're going to have to go through and have a fight here, which is perfectly fine. It's one way of going through this. I need to cure my lung condition here, though. Okay. So I wonder why this guy died. But since we're here, we can steal all of the stuff
Quit playing games.
that's in here. So sterile nanotubes are an exotic crafting component. So they're pretty good to have if you don't have any. So we've got some more crafting materials, more ammo here. Okay. And we can use this location to up our boost pack skill. Each one of these that we do while we're in combat counts toward that number, so it's fairly easy when you're in a situation like this to level up your boost pack. I'm not going to level it up all the way, I'm just going to level it up one more. So that's at 19 or so, so only 5 more uses. Going to get ready for somebody possibly walking around the corner here. I think we're good. Okay, so we can up our boost pack training to level 3. How many do we have to do for level 4? We need to do it 50 times, so I'm not going to bother you with that. But we've only got one more level to go on upping our boost pack, which is nice. Okay, so probably every time that we get seen, the guards are now going to be angered with us.
You have no idea what
Yeah.
you're up against.
So we're just going to have to kill everybody up here, which, like I say, is not necessarily a problem. Especially with how overpowered our weapons are at this point. Okay, again, we have another of these kind of treasure rooms, so to speak, around here to start looking through.
There you are.
And this is going to be an easy way to keep leveling up our gun skill. I think this panel might have... No. Like I said, I'm still trying to find out why he died. What killed that guard. Because we certainly did not do it. But, oh well, is what it is. So we're going to head up here.
There you are. This won't end well for you.
You will pay for that.
Okay, so some of these are NPCs that are on the ship here. And we don't have any choice but to... So there's a Scow service key. Some of these are part of the quests that you can do to avoid fighting everybody. There are multiple ways to get this artifact here. Those bulletproof plants. Okay.
I knew it.
Okay, so you can see in there are some special named enemies. You gonna go to work, Sarah, or am I gonna have to do all the work here? Some of these named enemies are mercenaries, which you can actually convince to fight with you during this fight, if you would like. You can also learn different information from them to give you different ways to try and steal the artifact, rather than just having a straight up fight. But we don't have a choice here. Whoops. Sarah, get out of the way. Okay, so now that I leveled up something, I want to pause here. So I leveled up rifles, so I'm going to rank that up. Because I still need to get more kills with it. So, and now I'm leveling up 2 skills at once. And Raptor is another one of the mercenaries. And Aaron September is the other mercenary that's here. So, Captain Petrov is still way up there. Oh, Raptor's right there. Okay, I think that's it for now. Most of the others are a bit farther up there. So you can look. The Scout crew is normally going to have standard weapons, but Aaron, September, and the other mercs might have higher level gear. So they are the ones that you need to pay special attention to. So here's Raptor, and again, a little bit higher level gear. So the possibility that you're going to find advanced versions of weapons on them at the level that we're at. And Bull, he's got a legendary. Just a rescue axe, though. So that's not much use for us. And we don't care about selling stuff at this point. I've got 1.5 million credits. So not too worried about it, about picking it up. Now we have Captain Petrov trapped in front of us here. Whenever he sees you, he's going to try and run away from you. Unfortunately for him, the only place he can go to run away from us is farther back into a dead end. Normally, when you go through this, he's out here, and he's running back that way through all of these guards, all the way back to the front, and you actually confront him right at the entrance to your ship. And it's been a while since I've been in here. I don't think it's here. I think it's in Captain Petrov's quarters. So this is unlocked with the Scout service key that we picked up off of one of the service members. And this... Again, there's this downstairs area here, which leads you into a different part of the ship to go looking around in. So these little areas like this are what I'm talking about with things that you can steal. Okay, now the secure cell control, this is one of the ways in which you can complete this quest. So inside here is the captain's menagerie. There's all sorts of alien creatures in here. You can make your way into here, drop down there. You can access this and open the doors, and it will let all of those aliens out, all the doors opened, and you can see them all taking off, and they will go wreak havoc amongst the crew as a distraction and taking some of them out so that you don't have to. Now, we're already well past that point, so it doesn't really matter for us. But that is one of the ways that you can complete the quest.
It's on now!
Okay, so see, he got killed by one of the aliens.
Wait! I surrender! I surrender! Don't kill me!
You left us with little choice.
Ah! I see it now. You're in love with the artifact, just as I am. Oh, a cruel fate brings two people of the same kind together. Go then. Leave my ship with your heart's desire. But the United Colonies will know of your descent into petty piracy. C'est la guerre.
There's something I need to talk to you about.
Okay,
Yes.
so that kind of ends the confrontation here. Normally everybody's dead at this point because you had to chase him all the way back to your ship by your guards. But see, everybody's non-hostile now. So, oh, they're going after the aliens. That's what they're doing. I was like, they're non-hostile now. What are they doing? They're still going after the aliens that I let loose. So you're kind of seeing some of the havoc.
It's on.
Because they can take a beating from these guys. Because these guys are fairly low level. So I'm just going to kill them just to get my kills up. Okay. And here's where they were in here. And if you're lower level than I am right now, this can be a little bit hard to go through. So these distractions and help clearing out some of the crew are always good things for you. Like I say, it can get a little bit hard depending upon what level you are when you go through this. I'm insanely over leveled for this right now, so no, this is where we need to go. We need to get to the vault. So the Scout Ox weapon key unlocks this door. And in here you're going to find high-level versions of weapons and that sort of stuff. So advanced versions of them if you don't already have them. And in here, you're going to find a higher level weapon of some sort. This is actually interesting. An advanced Varun inflictor that's modded. So if I compare this to my version, can't remember what number it is. Okay, here it is. So, yeah, the difference is that it's got cornered on it. My mods are better, or ones that I like better. So to give me higher range and higher accuracy over what they have here, but not losing any damage. The only thing would be cornered. I don't really care about cornered for myself, so I'm going to stick with the one that I have. However, taking an advanced version of this actually may be good for one of the other characters for Andrasia. Can't remember what she has right now. So we'll keep that with us just in case. Okay, and down here's the vault. Now, to get through this vault door, you either convince Petrov to come in here, you have a persuasion check to do it, and he will let you in. You can let out the menagerie, and the guard in here will open the door from the inside and come out to try and help, and that will open the door. There's also another way in, and that's through this back panel here. That back panel can be accessed from another location up here and around the back where you drop down into an area behind it, and you can cut your way in to that back panel. Now, once you've done that, this guard is still going to be sitting here, so you're going to have to deal with this guard, but that's the only guard you'll have to deal with. And again, inside here, high-level stuff that's behind cases, advanced versions of armor and that sort of stuff while you're in here. And there's the artifact. So we can pick it up. There's some other cool stuff in here. An old Macintosh computer. So there is some other interesting stuff. You can't pick up any of this stuff. Any of the really cool stuff that's in here. But again, checking some of these can find, you know, higher versions of weapons and armor that you might want. Now there is also, and again, you don't have to do it now, you can come back for this later. And honestly, I can't remember where it is, but there's a skill magazine here on board the scow. So you can pick it up while you're here. I thought it was in this room, actually. Like I say, it's been a while since I've gone through and gotten it. It doesn't look like it is. I don't see it sitting anywhere. But there's a skill book here for the scow. You can come back here. The scow's always going to be located in this system. So you can come back and board it again later if you'd like and come back. But if you want to get it while you're here, you certainly can. And here's what I meant. This door here will cut you into the vault. It will cut you into a back area which you can walk around and get you into the vault. So this is another way, if you're trying to play a stealth way, so to speak, of getting yourself into the vault.
I'm sure they had something we can use.
Okay, and we don't need anything else. And again, there are various ways that you can maneuver yourself around this place if you're playing a stealth-based playthrough, to get your way around guards and not be seen and that sort of stuff. We obviously don't need it the way that we came in here. And I would like to check. I honestly can't remember where that skill magazine is. I was hoping to show it to you, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time wandering around in the dark here trying to find it. But there are plenty of guides out there to explain all of these, all of the magazine locations, and where you can get them, so I don't need to explain each one in depth. Like I say, plenty of other great content creators have already put together guides on how to find them all. You can come back here whenever you want. So we've picked up the artifact. We've got what we needed here. The question now really is, if we paid attention to what Petrov said. He said he was going to let the UC know about our treachery. And he has absolutely done that. So we'll see it here in a second. And if you're going through this in a stealth way, this is a good intersection to leave your companion. You can just talk to them.
I wanted to talk to you, but honestly, I don't know where
Okay,
to
sir, I
begin.
didn't want to get into this whole
Starborn's
conversation.
Technology is simply astonishing. It's just almost too much to process.
Okay, we're going to hold
Maybe
off on
next
this
time.
conversation. You can talk to your companion and tell them to wait here. And that way, once you go in here and you start sneaking around, they're never going to break stealth on you. You don't have to worry about them.
Damn it, Petrov. I was just getting warmed up.
And you know, I just want to look around here just to make sure
So what? We're just going to let you loot the ship?
that skill magazine isn't here. Okay, it's not. Okay, so we'll head back to our ship here. And again, this was the non-stealth way of doing it. But there are 2 or 3 other ways to do this quest once you get on board the ship. So now, we need to add this to the collection. However, we look here at Alpha Centauri, we have a bounty. He has alerted the UC to the fact that we stole from him, so we have a bounty. We do not want to land back at Jemison before we get that taken care of. And an easy way to do that is just to go over to Cheyenne and land at Aquila City, because every faction keeps their own bounties. So if I have a bounty with the UC, I don't necessarily have that same bounty with the Freestar Collective. And right when you get inside of Aquila City, you'll find a way to clear your bounty out at the bar right around the corner. So right here is a self-service bounty clearance board from the Trackers Alliance. It will tell you all of the credits or the bounties that you have, and you can clear them out. Okay, so I have a bounty of 1 credit with Neon. That's interesting. It's going to cost you 10% extra to clear your bounties here, but that's not a big deal. I don't know. Oh. Neon is Freestar Collective Space, but I don't know why I have a bounty of 1 credit and why no one is trying to arrest me and collect that bounty. Strange. That might be a bug of some sort. So now we can head back and land at Jemison. that will complete no sudden moves.
Vladimir! Vlad, come in! Come in! The eye's gone completely dark. I can't reach anyone on the station.
Noel, Starborn, came out of nowhere.
Vladimir, get out of there!
He already left. Said he was going to the lodge.
Okay, so you have two choices here on how you want to play this. And each choice is going to have a consequence. So at this point, if you, the hunter is the Starborn adversary that we're going to come up against. So we're going to have a fairly tough fight against us. If you defend the lodge. However, whoever is still up there on the eye is going to die in the attack up there. And I believe we left Sam up there. So if you choose to defend the eye, whoever you left up there is going to survive, but then whoever you left down here is going to die. So it really becomes a matter of somebody's going to get lost. It's just, who do you want to get lost? And it's based upon your favor with any of the particular members here. So I'm going to go up and defend the eye here. Your closest companion is going to be alive but severely injured when you come back here to the lodge. But your second highest person, whoever's up there on the eye, is going to end up dying.
Sam! He's still breathing, but oh God, all that blood!
Hello, Constellation. Are you there?
Who are you? What did you do to our friends?
They call me the Hunter. And now that I'm here, your part in glimpsing the Unity is over. I'm already on my way. Say goodbye to your friends. It won't be long.
Forget about us! That Starborn bastard is after the artifacts! You can't let him take them! Pack up the collection, move it somewhere they can't find it!
Vladimir's right. We need to fortify our position before that Starborn storms in. We move out once the artifacts are ready for transport.
What about everyone on the Eye? We can't leave them to die up there.
Okay, so again, this is your final choice here. The Hunter is a tough fight. I mean, it's not anything that you can't handle, but the Hunter has a unique rifle, and he's got some beefy armor. You cannot loot any of that stuff from him. But again, it's just going to be a fairly tough fight here because he is on his way here to defend the lodge. So he is going to come in here guns blazing, and like I say, it's going to be a fairly tough fight. So you basically just wear him down long enough until the rest of the Constellation members can clear out the artifacts. And the hunter's going to be chasing you the whole way. And the like I say, it's just kind of like a running fight through the sewers. It's actually really cool. It's just the character with the highest affinity level towards you is not going to survive. Okay, so if you head up to the eye, you're going to have to get up there pretty quickly. You can't take your time messing around, because if you fly to the eye, the hunter might already have come into the lodge here. And if he shows up in the lodge before you leave for the eye, you're locked into defending the lodge. He said he's on his way here. There's nothing you can do to stop that. So a timer has started. As soon as you make the choice here on whichever one you do, if you're going up to the eye, you need to immediately leave for the eye, because if he walks through the front door, you're locked into defending the lodge. Okay, so it's entirely up to you on how you want to play this. I am so if I think, well, I don't know actually between Sarah and Sam who has the highest and the second highest. My assumption would have been that Sarah has the highest affinity toward me, so if I defend the lodge, she's going to die. If I defend the eye, then she's going to be wounded, but Sam is going to be dead. So I think I'm going to head up and defend the eye, and that might sacrifice Sarah instead.
I understand if you want to go, but I need you here. Please, I don't know what's going to happen once that Starborn shows up.
I don't know how long it's gonna take to pack up the artifacts. I'll get started.
Okay, so here you have to get out of here quick. So, whoops, I need to...
Hopefully this will only take a few minutes, if my hands can stop shaking!
Are you heading to the eye? We'll need to barricade the door behind you. You won't be able to get back in.
Okay. So, this is your final choice here on what you want to do. So, Sarah, if she ends up dying, I'm going to lose astrodynamics, lasers, leadership, and botany from her. Astrodynamics is a big deal. It lets you jump your ship farther. But again, you have a choice to make here. I'm going to head to the eye.
You do the same.
Once you're out here, you can fast travel up to the eye. Don't worry, you are going to be coming back here.
Okay, I admit, my famous personality wasn't so much help with this one. I don't think I'm going anywhere for a bit. Give the meds some time to kick in. You go ahead.
I really messed up on this one, friend. Usually the last guy to get outdrawn. Forgot how much I missed your sarcasm while I was worrying you were dead. Let's go.
He came out of nowhere. I don't think I can move right now. Go on without me. I'll be okay.
And choosing that second option is going to get you approval.
You're alive. Krix's ghost can keep waiting. No tears for the old. Got the others to worry about.
Okay, so now it wants us to head back to the lodge. So it looks like Sam had the highest affinity towards us. So Sarah is going to be dead down here when we get back, I think.
It went quickly after you left. We held him off while Noel escaped through the basement. There's a door that leads to the well district.
I appear to only be seriously damaged instead of critically damaged. Fortunate. That you are likewise relatively undamaged is also preferable to the alternative.
Okay, we're going to come back down here in a second.
Took you long enough. Noelle, she might still be in danger. There's a secret door in the basement. Leads right to the well district. That would have been the safest route for her to run.
And here...
Hey, Sarah. Sarah, can you hear me? It's Sam. We're gonna finish this thing for you, okay? Sarah? We'll solve this mystery, I swear. She's gone. Come on. Let's get going. There's no changing anything now.
Okay. So now we need to find Noel. Okay, they said there's a door in the basement to follow her into the well.
Stay back! Oh, thank God. Thank God, thank God, thank God. I still have the artifacts, but where do we take them?
Oh, there you are. I wasn't expecting you to run to the eye.
You! You're not getting the artifacts.
Yes. Let's see if they can slip from my grasp this time, shall we?
Okay, so the hunter's here, and you can see he's high level. So I'm going to take some aid here, and I've got alien genetic material for that, so I've got really high damage resistance for 30 seconds for each one of these I take. I'm also going to switch to some of my highest damaging weapons that I have to be able to inflict as much on him as quickly as I can, and that is not the sniper rifles. I can hit harder, or it's not the mag sniper. I can hit harder with the inflictor or with the hard target than I can with most anything else. So I'm going to take as much damage resistance as I can, but again, I'm going to be watching my health as we go through this, because this fight is not easy to do. Okay, you can see he's got the stone skin power active. Okay, and again, watch your health.
You are nothing but a delay, a distraction.
Where'd he go? Okay. So that's what I say, the hard target is your best weapon to utilize, especially if you have gone farming and you have an extended mag version of the hard target, because especially if you can headshot with a crit, you're going to remove about one full armor bar from him whenever you do it. It will also stagger him a bit, so having the hard target at this point and having it modded up is probably your best weapon to have. You can also shoot it really, really fast, and each one of those deals about 500 damage. The problem with the mag sniper is that you can shoot it this way really fast, but that does almost no damage. The mag sniper, you have to hold it down and charge it up for it to do a lot of damage, and that just takes too much time between shots. So your best option here, if you have it, is the hard target, depending upon when you picked up the Revenant and what the damage is on it. This can be a good option for you as well. So it's just one of those things where if you're going to do it, you're going to be standing right in front of him to shoot it, and you really need to watch your health while it's happening. Okay, so now we're going to make our way out here. See, this is what I mean about the Revenant. You're going to be standing there in front of him. While you're doing it. So you need to really watch what damage he's doing to you there. And make sure that you're getting your meds popped whenever you've got the chance.
Pardon.
And this is what I mean by it being a running fight.
Hello.
As you make your way in, you're going to encounter him. Now the other thing to do is, instead of, if you know you're going into this fight with the hard target, instead of modding it to have the long scope on it, you can put something like a reflex sight on it, or a short scope, so that it doesn't zoom in so far. Makes it easier to hit. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, so again, just watch your health when you're doing this. And we are almost out of ammo for the Revenant. And I must be out of med packs, so we will swap to trauma packs. Okay, and last thing that we're going to have to do is to escape to our ship here, but interesting. Oops. Okay, but you can hear Okay. He's going to give you the Unrestrained Vengeance. Okay, if you go into attack here, again, you better have a high-level ship, because right now that's not going to work.
I was merely taking the shortest path to my destination. But now, I think I'll just kick back, enjoy the long road. In case you didn't notice, I have a way of getting around unseen. Although I'll admit, retreat isn't a humiliation I've had to endure in some time. You should be proud. There's a greater purpose to all this. You might have a larger role than I realized. Mistake on my part. Keep collecting the artifacts. We'll meet again. Maybe you'll glimpse the unity yet.
Okay, so our quest marker's taking us out to the eye.
You're back. Thank the blackest sea that you and Noel are safe. And the artifacts? The lodge. So, we slip from the Starborn's grasp, but not before taking a stab straight in the heart. We need to talk locks and bolts. Lodge and the Eye are not secure. Just means he's playing the waiting man's game. He'll be back once we've done all the work of collecting the other pieces.
Hunter, he probably found us because we're somewhere obvious. High-populated area, just like how the Starborn found you orbiting Neon the first time. But the fact that they're competing with us to find the artifacts means they can't get them without searching.
So we put the artifacts somewhere in the fringe, or on something that can slip from their grasp if they do another strike from the curtain. Clear from the few encounters we've had that the artifacts are all the Starborn prize.
They could come after us, though. Try to find out where we put them.
Need to take the risk. The Eye, the equipment in the lodge, not easily moved. Gotta hope whatever is giving the Hunter pause applies to the whole. Just need to make another direct hit less the jackpot. Hope your walls are high, just in case the Starborn get lucky and find the spot to do the breach and storm.
Here, keep the artifacts safe. I guess we'll meet back at the lodge after.
Okay, so you can build the Armillary on your ship or at outposts. So this is a whole new section of quests here. Now, if you build it at your outpost, you are going to have to, well, you don't have to put up defenses, but you are going to get raids that happen against your outpost, and you're going to have to make sure that you have capability to defend it. If you put it on your ship, the same thing is going to happen. It's just you're going to be fighting from your ship. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other on how you want to play this, how you want to play it out with your choice. So here are the next two options in how to conclude this. Okay, so if we go to...
We can't move home at Hearth, but we can at least move the artifacts. No, my plan might be a fool's test, but taking the artifacts back to the lodge won't cut it.
Okay, so if you try and move on from this, you can't. You're locked into completing high price to pay before you can go looking for any other powers. That does not necessarily mean that you have to complete high price to pay. You can do other things while you're waiting for this to be done. And you don't necessarily have to make your choice at, this exact instant, so to speak, considering it. And it doesn't matter what ship you build the Armillary on, you're not locked into that ship. So if you want to go upgrade your ship or something like that a little bit later on, that's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and do that. But I said during the first hour and a half here, we were going to kind of work on powers, and that's kind of what we've done, is completed gotten close to completing the next major section of the quest here. I would prefer not to have to deal with any of these pop-ups while we're doing other things for the rest of the stream here. So I think what we're going to do is just leave high price to pay active for now, and we're going to head out and try and do a couple of other things. I said I was going to do a side quest. There are a couple of really cool side quests that would be very interesting to do. However, I think we're going to explore a couple of other things, and to do that, I think we're going to make sure that we have the Star Eagle upgraded first. So let me land down here and take a look at that real quick.
Planets like these are my favorite.
Okay, so we're not going to be able to do it here on Jemison. Because Jemison is still locked into the whole we went through a fight here type of thing. I think you have to jump away and then you have to jump back, I think, to clear it, but we'll see here real quick. Let me just see if Jemison has its regular options back. If it doesn't, we can just check our ship here. It's not a big deal. Okay, so yeah, we have to complete high price to pay to restore Jemison to what it is. I'm gonna go in here and talk to the ship services technician here.
Evac. We can still take care of your ship. Just don't linger. Okay, no problem.
And I'm just going to check the upgrades and see what we have for the grav drive. So this has a thrust of 23. I think I need at least 27. Okay, so that's the highest I can get here. Let's head to Cydonia here real quick. I didn't think I wanted to use that. No, I'm fine with that. Let's go over here.
Whatever. Huh. Okay, no problem.
I might be limited. Yeah, I'm going to be limited here on what I can upgrade with that. Let's go to the shipbuilder here first and see if we can pop our grav drive out. See if we can add, and let's look at our grav drives and see what options we have. We're only capable of using A-class ships, so that class is what we're worried about, but we need to see what the highest jump thrust we have is. So there's 23. 27 is class B. So we're not able to get 27, so we're stuck with 23, which means we can't get all the way out to where I would like to go. So and the other thing, actually come to think of it, is where are the rest of my skills at here? Where's piloting at? Piloting's at 2. So I need to get that up to 15 to get to 3. Okay. And we're not going to be able to do that on Jemison anyway. So we're just going to have to complete High Price to Pay. Okay, so we have an option here, and I can't remember where it is on the Star Eagle, honestly. I thought it was around here. Let's activate this quest again and see if it gives me the quest marker. Okay, I thought it was there. Here it is. Okay. I looked right next to the cargo hold. It was right next to the screen here. Now, again, what this is, your two options are, or you actually have three options, I guess. If you build it on your ship, you are going to get attacked by Starborn while you're flying around more often. If you build it at your outpost, your outpost is going to get attacked more often by Starborn that you are going to have to fight off. So you are going to have space battles here against the Starborn if you build the Armillary here. However, I don't have an outpost that's really set up right now to build it there. So I'm just going to take the additional attacks that might pop up from the Starborn and build it here. Okay. So this is, it tells you the exact same thing. If you choose to keep the artifacts in your inventory, then attacks are more likely everywhere. So that's the third option. You can either build it on your ship, you can build it on a planet, or you can dismantle it and keep the artifacts in your inventory. Now the artifacts, if you keep them in your inventory, don't have any mass, so you can carry them all around if you would like. However, then it doesn't matter whether you're on a planet or whether you're in space, you can get attacked equally likely at either spot. Thing about that is that if you're on a planet trying to do other things, you may get a Starborn attack while you're down there. And that's normally why I like to put it in my ship. I've kind of accelerated this a little bit. In my personal quest line, I tended to do a lot of the side quests and all that sort of stuff first. So I already had my piloting skill up where it needs to be, and I had a really high-end ship by now, by the time I did this quest. We need to kind of focus on that to make sure that we're able to handle the ambushes that we're going to get from the Starborn while we're flying around. Because the Star Eagles, like I say, it's a good starter ship, but it's not all that great for high-end ship combat that you're going to be dealing with. Okay, you can always run. You can just dump into your grab drive and run off.
As wonderful as living worlds
It's just
are,
something you need to be aware of.
predators.
Okay, so yeah, now Jemison is reset again, so everybody's back. We're going to have to get our piloting skill up, because we need to go upgrade our ship, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to simply steal a ship. And to do that, you want to head out to the fringes of space so you can find the higher level enemy ships and take them over while they're on the ground. Don't necessarily try and do it while you're in space combat, because we're going to get shredded by those high level ships. You want to go and wait for them to land on a planet that you're at, and then go find out what ship that is and head over to it and try and steal it while it's on the ground. But to get your piloting skill up, let me see if we're able to access all of these things. Okay, so we can. The Vanguard Pilot Simulator here is an easy way to rank up your piloting skill. Right now we need 15 ships to get to level 3 and get B-class ships.
Looking to polish those flying skills? Well, the goal remains the same. Defeat as many opponents as you can before your ship is disabled. Defeat 3 tiers of opponents to complete the exam. Good hunting.
So all you really need to do is hop in the simulator here, and this is free combat.
New targets active.
Okay, and this is something else that I didn't really think about, is that when I leveled up, when I power leveled myself, everything levels up, including the ships in here. So that means they're going to be a little bit harder to deal with as well. This means they're going to take a little bit longer to kill, but my ship has leveled up with it while I'm in here.
New targets active.
So Tier 2, Tier 3, you should also be able to survive.
Tier 3.
But you're starting to get, like I say, a little bit harder as we go through this. But that's 3 kills.
New targets active.
Okay, so that's 5.
Tier 3 reached.
Well done. You've cleared a sufficient number of tiers to complete the exam. You may now exit the simulator or stay and try your hand at the remaining enemy groups.
Okay, so Tier 4 is normally pretty easy. Tier 5 is the one that's going to end up killing you every time. So normally I stick in it here for Tier 4.
New targets active.
There's one ship, but it's a high level ship. But normally if you can manage your speed and you can get in behind it, it's okay. So you just need to manage your speed here. Okay, and while when it boosts, you want to boost after it to keep it within range so it doesn't turn on you. Because if it turns on you, it's going to do a lot of damage. Now, Tier 5, you're not going to end up surviving here, even with any help you can get from the simulator pad or from the simulator computer. You just try and focus on one of them and take out one, because right now we've got 6 kills. You can normally get 7 kills per run, but the 66 tier one, you probably don't want to... Okay, so these are all 66, so it's not even giving us an option for any lower ones. You just need to try and focus one down. And see if you can get in enough damage before you end up getting killed. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get in enough damage. Yeah, I did.
You can now either exit through the simulator.
Okay, so you get 6 per on that.
Exam from the cockpit's system terminal.
So you can get, like I say, 6, possibly 7 kills per simulator run in here. Okay, I thought you had an option to... Okay, you don't have one. You have to exit and come back in. I thought there was an option to restart it from in there. There's not. You can only restart your current tier, and if you jump back into that tier, you're just going to end up getting killed over and over and over again, so it's not worth it. Instead, you jump back out and jump back in and do it again.
Looking to polish those flying skills? Well, the goal remains the same. Defeat as many opponents as you can before your ship is disabled. Defeat 3 tiers of opponents to complete the exam. Good hunting.
New targets active.
That was a bad boost I had a little bit ago. Shouldn't have. Now I can boost around behind him. Okay, he's around behind the asteroid, which means I'm going to get in his line of fire again. Again, probably not the greatest boost there. If I can get around, oh, I can't get around behind him. So we'll take out the 38 first. So we're getting there.
Progress recorded. Tier 2 reached. Initiating Tier 3.
The Tier 3 again.
New targets active.
Should be 2 ships. Okay, so we've got 38 first. So we're going to boost to try and get around behind them.
This is futile.
He's boosting away, so we'll go get him. So again, fairly easy to take tier 4. It's just one high-powered ship. You just have to kind of get around in behind it. That's really the only tricky part. Once you're around behind it, then you're good to go. Tier 7 or tier 5, like I say, you're just going to end up getting killed. But you try and take one ship with you. Okay, so we're in behind him. He's going behind the asteroid. He boosted away. No, he didn't. He's just flying around the asteroid. So we're up to 12, and again, we're not even going to fight tier 4, it's just not worth it. It's just a waste of time for possibly being able to get one more kill out of it. And right now we're at 12, so we need 3 more ship kills. So that's only needing tiers 1 and 2, and then we're immediately going to exit and up our piloting skill again, so that then any ship kills that we get after that count towards the next level up.
Defeat 3 tiers of opponents to complete the exam. Good hunting.
Otherwise, the ship kills, if you don't level it up, then your ship kills will not count toward the next level, so.
New targets active.
He didn't boost. That was a mistake on my part.
All targets eliminated. Progress recorded. Tier 1 reached. Initiating Tier 2.
Okay, so we'll take tier 2. That'll be our level up, and then we'll exit out of here. And that'll allow us to pilot Class B ships.
New targets active.
We'll focus the tier 38 first. They can do a lot of damage, but they're easier to take out. Hey Philip, welcome to the stream. Alright, so that levels us up.
All targets eliminated. Progress recorded. Tier 2 reached. Initiating Tier 3.
So you can, whoops, exit out of the simulator now.
Shutting down. New targets active.
And here we can up our piloting to rank 3. Now you're going to have to kill 30 ships to unlock the ability to pilot Class C ships. So that's something that I'm not necessarily going to do on stream here. It's just rinse and repeat. Like I say, you can kill 6 ships every time that you go through a run inside the simulator. So you just have to do 5 runs through the simulator to destroy 30 ships, and you unlock the ability to pilot Class C ships. And that's what we're going to do before we go ship hunting. For now, though, we have the ability to pilot Class B ships, so we can use Class B items on our ship. However, we can also upgrade what modules are allowed to go on our ship by using these tiers in Starship Design. So here you just have to install 5 different modules, and we're going to head out to the ship services technician again here.
Space, whatever you need, we'll have to make it fast. Sure, have at it.
And now let's see if we have any upgrade options available to us here. Okay, so we don't have one sitting here available to us, so we'll go into the shipbuilder. Pull this out. We'll hit G for add. We'll go to grav drives. And now we have the option C to install Class B modules, but to install a Class B module, we're going to have to make sure that we have a Class B reactor for it. So our reactor is here, and you can see that's a Class A reactor in there. So we're going to pull this out. Here's our reactor. Okay, so here's our reactors. So want to start looking at Class Bs. So we've got 24 generated power here. Yes, and that's the highest that we have available to us. Okay, so then we can add in our grav drive. And we want something with a thrust of at least... Why can I put a Class C in here? Oh, because it's one of the exotic, or the modules that I unlocked with Starship Design. We want one that has at least, that is Class B and has at least 27 jump thrust. So once we've got that in, then we can delete these two. We should get a check, a flight check of nominal. Okay, and now when we exit, we have the option to accept. The other thing that and see, that allowed us, that was 2 out of 5 ship modules installed. The other thing that I want to do that I forgot about is here. These have 160 fuel in each one. I'm going to hover over this and attach and go to fuel tanks and see if we can get more than 160 fuel. So I can't without Starship Design rank 2. Okay. So what I can do, though, is just put one of those on. I can just put any of these on, it doesn't matter. Delete that one. I can shift to the other side. Delete this one. Put another one in there. Doesn't matter which one as long as it's not that same one. And now here I can just try and put anything down here. And that should be 3 more unique modules. Oh, no it wasn't. I put 2 of the I put 2 of the same fuel tank in. So we need this one to go in here, I believe. But let's not test it. Let's just put one of these random ones in. That should get us 5. So we're gonna up Starship Design to 2. We'll go talk to him again.
There's been... Sure, have at it.
Go into the shipbuilder, and now we'll remove all of that stuff that we put on there. So we don't need the porthole, we don't need that. We can attach, and now let's go to our fuel tanks. Whoops. And now we have access to higher range fuel tanks here. So we're going to be limited on what we can put in this exact spot here. But we can get 210. These are the ones that we were just at. So we can put the Atlas here. And that's 400 fuel for that one. Then we can delete this one, hover over this attachment point, and we can put another one there. And now we have 800 jump range or jump fuel with a 30 jump range. And what that is going to allow you to do is to get out here to these far end systems that are level 75. Some of these jumps here, like for instance, we'll just head out here real quick. Okay, as soon as you jump into the systems out here, you immediately want to be opening your map. So here to jump to, whoops, we have to jump to Alpha Turnian first.
I miss my dear darling and you Atlantis, as I wander the black.
We want everything on our grav drive so that we can jump faster. Because if you run into an ambush out here, you want to be able to jump out. Okay, so this one to Archimedes here, you can see the jump range. The distance is 27.35. We have a jump range of 28. So with our old jump range of 23, we wouldn't be able to make the jump out here to Archimedes. So this is, you need to have a jump range of at least 28 to get out here to these 3 systems. So these are all 75 out here. These systems up here you don't have to have as far a jump range. You can jump to Serpentis and then to Rana, and from Rana to Strix, and you can get to these with only a 23 jump range. But out here, Fermi and Bohr are 2 75 level systems. Here we have 3 level 75 systems. And what you can do and as soon as you jump in, get on your map and see. So here we only have one planet that has any systems on it. I want to check and see what the POIs are at all 3 of these level 75 systems. In my personal playthrough, I got really lucky with the points of interest out here, and I had a lot of them that were available. Here we're getting like 1 planet in each system that has a procedurally generated ones, and they are all crappy ones. So let's check Huygens. Okay, so we've got 2 planets with pre-generated ones, and these are going to be bad ones as well. The abandoned farm is not worth anything, and civilian outpost. So, what you can do out here is, for instance, Huygens 3, well, that would probably be a bad one because it's got fauna on it, and you don't want to be fighting animals as you're going. But let's see what we have for... So that's just frozen. That's deep freeze. Frozen. So Huygens 6 might be a good one. Just pick a random planet. Pick a random landing spot on it. And again, you don't really necessarily want to be doing this until you've got unlocked Class C ships. But I'll illustrate kind of what we're going to do here. Okay, so we've got a research tower right next to us. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to exit our ship. And we're going to watch the skies. Okay, so there's a ship landing somewhere. Right there. Okay. So I can tell already, just by looking at it, that this ship is not going to be one that we're interested in. I don't know, because if we haven't completed that. Yeah, we probably won't be able to, get rid of Sam, which is probably going to be an issue for us. The other thing that makes it a little easier is if you get a lower G planet, so you can use your boost pack quite a bit, because the ships normally land a bit away from you. And with Sam with us, this might be undoable. Well, I guess it would just trigger him. I guess if we still run past him and make it to the ship, we're still okay. You'll quickly learn the outlines of these ships. and what each of the different faction ships look like, and whether or not it's going to be a good ship to go after. Now here I'm not even going to really care what it is, I'm just illustrating how this works. You wait for a ship to land near you, and I already know what this one is. And then you go investigate that ship. If it's one that you want to try and steal, then you need to get onto the ship without killing all of the enemies that the ship might have dropped off. Okay, so in this case, it looks like the enemies have taken off. Oh, this might be part of this POI. If that's the case, we're not going to be able to get on this ship anyway. Okay, so we have a raptor here. And it looks like we can pick our way into it. But the raptor is not one of the main faction ships. This is just a Class A ship that is fairly mediocre in size. What you're looking for is to have a ship land. And you can just pick a new landing spot. You want one of the faction ships to land, and specifically you want
Spacewalks can be dangerous.
one of the Ecliptic Claymores to land. And it's going to be pretty hard to see with all this dust and everything around, so I'm just going to pick a new one. Okay, so now it's clear. And you wait and see if a ship's going to land. You normally only have to wait a few seconds before you know if one's going to land. And it doesn't look like I'm going to get one to land here on Huygens 6, so I'm going to go over and pick one of the other planets. And all you do is jump between the planets until you find one that as soon as you land, you see a faction ship land with you. And then you can just keep moving from landing spot to landing spot, and different faction ships will land. Okay, I hear him. Yep, there he is. Okay. So this is actually one that you want. This is a Claymore. This is what an Ecliptic Claymore looks like. Now, there are 3 different levels of Ecliptic Claymores. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to steal this, again, because it depending upon what level it is. Since we're way out here, this might actually be a Class C ship, and since we're not able to pilot it, we're not going to be able to steal it. But if it is the Class B version, then we'll be able to take it, and it'll be an upgrade over the Star Eagle. Okay, so it took off again. It just dropped them off and took off. We didn't get there in time. But we know that ships like that land out here, so now we have a reference for where we want to come back and do it. So we now know that Huygens 5A out here is
not every rock is
a ship
nitrogen in O2.
gathering spot. Okay, so now when we land out here, we should get another one to drop. Okay, normally we do. It is random whether or not they drop out at each landing site on a planet that can spawn them. And you're not always guaranteed to get a claymore at each individual planet. The faction ship that spawns is going to be random. Okay, so we didn't get one here either. This is normally not how this works. This was a lot easier in my personal playthrough, and I had this kind of worked out really, really well before I got on here, so I don't know why things are being so difficult here in this one. Okay, there he is. Okay, that might be... that's part of the POI there. That's a ship that's dropping off something for the POI. For the point of interest over here. So that's not a ship spawn that we're going to be able to do anything with. That's not a faction ship. That's another one like the Raptor that we found a little bit ago. Okay, let's go spawn one here. Okay, we're getting fairly unlucky with the ship spawns here. You can only have a maximum of 4 landing site point of interest on each planet.
Just another dead rock.
So as you land in your 5th and 6th locations, it just starts deleting the first ones that you landed at. Okay, we must have just got really, really lucky with that first Claymore spawn, because this planet doesn't seem to be spawning them. But that first one wasn't really a regular spawn anyway, I think, because they ended up taking off. Normally they don't take off, they just sit there. And they get out of the ship and they do a little patrol around the exterior of the ship. So maybe that wasn't a planet that could ever spawn ships. We just got a random ship event. Okay, let's see if we hear anything. You normally hear it before you see it. Okay, so we'll try one more here real quick before we head back and go to the lodge and just finish off the high price to pay quest. Okay, there's one. Oh, it's got a Starborn ship. Okay, now these can go one of two ways. And by the way, the Starborn ships are crap. They are not any good. So when these things land, they can go one of two ways. They are going to let some Starborn off either way. But it's just a matter then of whether or not they take off immediately afterward or not. If they don't take off, and the Starborn stay in a patrol pattern around it, then you will be able to capture the ship. If they get off and then the ship immediately takes off, and they just go walking in a straight line towards something, then it's very rare that you're able to get there in time to be able to capture it. This one looks like it's sticking, but I don't see any Starborn exiting the ship. Okay, there they are. So this thing might end up taking off now. We'll see. Okay, yeah, so inaccessible. So this isn't one of the ones that you can capture. I didn't think it was because they've gone out and they've just kind of walked out. This isn't really a patrol pattern that they're on, but I might be able to get a few kills here. Each one of these is getting us...
Something's close.
Is getting us kills with a rifle, but it's also getting us the Starborn essence. Okay, so they're out there behind the rock, afraid to come out. There he is. $2K headshots. Come on out. Run toward me. Thank you. Oh. And now this ship's gonna take off. Normally, as soon as you kill them, it takes off. Interesting that it's not. This is not one that I can capture. I can't enter this one. Yeah, it's inaccessible. Normally, after you kill all the Starborn out here, it leaves. I thought there were only 5. I wonder if that one's just glitched. But anyway, that's kind of the thing that you're looking for, is a ship spawn to happen, and for the ship to stop and land and stay in its place, not take off. The Starborn ships are a little special because the game doesn't want you getting what it thinks are the most overpowered ships in the game, even though they're just trash. Looks like we didn't get one here. Yeah, I know, Philip. You need a land vehicle, and there's a lot of speculation that that's actually coming in Shattered Space, in the content expansion. Because it is a glaring hole in content right now. You don't have the horses like you did in Skyrim. You don't have vehicles or anything like that. Okay, so we didn't get one here. So this is acting a little bit weird. So we're just going to head back to the lodge and complete this quest. It might be part of the fact that the quest is trying to glitch these things out. I don't know as if I've read that, Philip. I mean, it might. That would be a rather big thing for a patch. For Bethesda to do. Normally their patches are more around fixes and tweaks and things like that. But, I mean, I'm not opposed to them adding new content like that inside of one of their patches. Normally that stuff ends up waiting for a DLC type of thing. But we'll see. Maybe they will. And I've fallen behind a little bit on checking on all the speculation on the forums as well. So I may be behind on my news a little bit.
Mateo.
Oh, yeah, let's complete this first. Let's talk to Mateo.
Constellation has suffered losses before.
I'm serious. If I may, I know our encounter with the Hunter is the last thing anyone wants to talk about right now, but he said something that I can't get out of my mind. Unity. Do you remember that? Because he was stopping us, implying that we were getting closer to it. The thing is, I've heard that word before. It's an important concept in Keeper Aquilas's speeches.
The priest? Is the Sanctum Universum going to bless our little crusade of discovery?
It can't be a coincidence. The Sanctum has always believed that answers are out there in the stars. Look, I know it's the longest of shots and the biggest leap of faith I could ever ask us all to take, but why not talk to him?
I guess it couldn't hurt. I've heard the Keeper's a pretty insightful guy.
Thank you. I know it's not much to go on, but something about this feels right. I'll meet you over there.
Okay, so that's going to complete the high price to pay. And now Sam is dismissible,
I've been lost in thought for a bit.
Where we wanted
So
things
how
to
much of a
be.
thrill has it been traveling with the one and only last descendant of the great Solomon Coe?
Not
Is
really
it everything
interested
you
in the
imagined?
speeches here, Sam.
Oh, bad time. Got it. Later then. So how much of a thrill has it been traveling?
Okay.
Is it everything you
We
imagined?
have to go through this.
Well, that's a first. I gotta say, it's a relief being with you. So many people hear Coe and they expect me to pull some miracle out of a hat. Time has a way of just building on itself. Solomon was a good man. Great one, even. But if he ever heard all the bullshit being talked about him these days, he'd flat out deck him. I am. And I'm not. Yeah, there was a time, well before Cora, where it really weighed on me. Felt like every little thing I did or didn't do was a reflection on our great legacy. It's enough to drive you crazy. Now I just hope I can help Cora to... I don't know. Well then, Cora's gonna get a 5-star university education from me. For my father, Cora, and me, everything starts and ends with Solomon Coe. He looked out at the stars, and he dreamed a way to get there. Imagine being the first person to jump into a new system, set foot on a new world. Hell, I get it. That's powerful stuff. And now... I'm just getting sappy. You're a bad influence, you know that? That's what I like about you. Well, I hope the comic book they make about our adventures is better than that rag on Solomon. The stuff they publish is just downright embarrassing. I could really bend your ear when you got a moment.
This is the thing I really don't like about your companion interactions in this game, is that Sam is my companion right now. All I'm trying to do is dismiss him. I don't care. Just like in Baldur's Gate, events trigger your companions to have conversation options that they want to talk about them. Okay, the difference is that your companion dialogues here are so much more involved and lengthy than the ones that you have with your companions in Baldur's Gate. And here you don't have an option to dismiss Sam until you complete all of those conversations. It doesn't even give you an option to just quit talking about any of this stuff until later on when you want
You
to.
are straight out of one of those film noir novels.
And just dismiss him from your party and do this whenever you want. You
guys.
have to sit through all of this just
walking
to
around
dismiss
Key
him.
Makes my skin crawl. How'd you pull it off?
See, there's no option in here to dismiss Sam from your party or anything like that. Every time that you see Sam Coe wants to talk to you activity pop up over here, I'm gonna have to sit through another lengthy set of dialogue options before I can even get to the option to just dismiss him.
And you did the job anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong, helping Sistef was never on my bucket list.
Yeah, right.
Commander Akande, he really wasn't as much
That's
of a
exactly what it
tight-ass
is,
as I was
Philip.
expecting.
I normally don't sit here and talk over the
had your back,
characters for all of this stuff, but honestly, I
here's the
don't
Sistef.
care right now. All I'm trying to do is get rid of him as a
Who would've
companion.
thought that, right? I just wanted to say, when we first teamed up, I had a good feeling about you. But this... You really helped people. Helped everyone. I can't wait for our next adventure. When you get a moment, can we talk?
Yeah, see, and here's another one.
Of all the places in the galaxy, only Neon can make me feel so damn... oily. And you dealt with its absolute worst. Ryujin, Infinity LTD, all of it. You doing all right? That was a lot.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest complaints on the forums, is that all of these events, and we've done a lot of them without having any of our companions with us. You know, we went through all of the side quests. We went through UC Vanguard. We went through the Crimson Fleet. We went through Ryujin, and they're going to have stuff to say about all of them. But I can't just go in and interact with them like I would and change them in and out of my party, so to speak, without having every single one of these conversations first.
Human.
Whereas in Baldur's Gate, I can go talk to them and all those
advanced
options will be there for me to select.
Just can't help coming
But I
up with
don't
new horrors to
necessarily
inflict on
have
ourselves.
to talk to them
Next,
about all of those
Xenowarfare,
things.
and now this neural
I could just
tech.
leave them there in their
Swear it's
dialogue
the worst
tree
yet. Thank God you
and
pushed up.
bring them in and out of my party as I want. Here,
Amen to that.
I can't do any
With a
of
piece
that.
of
I
work
have
like
to sit
Ryujin,
through all of
I
this.
know there isn't a good person to put in charge. I mean, I guess Masako's better than Ularu Chen, but you just know if violence or being just plain evil was the path of least resistance, then Masako would pick it same as Ularu. You're right. I know you're right. Well, the whole damned affair is over. Thank God. You got time for a quick chat?
And here's
I
another
appreciate
one.
it when you're able. The whole Terramorph situation, seriously, hats off to you. When I was growing
It's
up,
ludicrous.
everyone was
It is
afraid of Terramorphs.
absolutely
How they could
ludicrous.
seemingly strike anywhere at any time. The carnage, the destruction. The stuff you've done here could save so many lives. Oh, the Freestar Collective ain't no angels either. Still, yeah, what they did here.
I'm not going to romance Sam, so I
know
don't
using
care
the micros
about
to kill
any
the
of these
Terramorphs may
dialogue
be
options and what they do with his approval
but for
or
what it's
not.
worth,
It is
I think you made the
completely
right call.
irrelevant to
100%.
me.
We just can't take any chances.
This is
with
going to
those
give you
damn
the
Terramorphs.
option to obviously
Imagine.
start a
generation
relationship
from
with
now,
Sam, if
Terramorphs
you would
just
like.
be a legend.
I'm just not going to
time
do
of
that.
fairy
I'm
tale.
going to do that with
United
Andrasia.
colonies.
So I don't care what happens
How
with any of
everyone
this
and
dialogue,
everywhere
whether
was
I have
big
it at
time.
all to begin with.
Even if they don't know it.
So the whole thing is just
The lodge is
okay,
still
and then
our home.
finally we get to the screen where we
We'll
can
make you feel
now
that way again.
dismiss him as an option. I mean, it's just it's one of those things where you
Oh,
just
well, if you have to.
yeah, you're just like, come
Come back
on.
soon,
I don't get it. It's a Bethesda thing that honestly just should never have been here. So we can continue on with the Unity quest, but we are not going to. We can finish off this little section here
I will be monitoring everyone's vitals.
because Sarah's obviously no longer with us. Okay, and we picked up the... Oh, so she had the Superior Constellation Pack. Okay, interesting. How much less is that than what I have? Okay, quite a bit. So, Sarah Morgan's outfit has plus 10 health, which is a good jump in health compared to the plus 5 that you normally see for plus 5 health and O2. But again, not something that I'm probably going to end up ever wearing. We did pick up the Unrestrained Vengeance from the Hunter. This is not his rifle. His rifle is Unrestrained Hatred or something like that is his. But the Unrestrained Vengeance is going to come with Hitman. So it's a rare laser rifle. It's going to give you a 15% bonus damage while you're aiming. Little pro tip, your companions cannot aim. As far as this perk is concerned, so they're not going to get a damage boost out of this ever. So just keep that in mind when you're going through it, that they're never going to get a bonus out of that. So we still need to end up killing 30 more ships. I will do that off stream. Like I said, we already saw how to do that in the simulator. So I'll just spend another 30 minutes or so going through, and well, it's probably going to take more like 45 minutes to go through the simulator 5 more times and kill 30 ships and get us up to the ability to pilot Class C ships. Then while we're off stream, I'm also going to go through the starship design. You already saw how this works. This is very similar to Outpost engineering in that you have to build different modules, Outpost modules, and it doesn't matter what they are, as long as they're different. So you can go to the shipbuilder and you can just randomly put different modules on your ship. And as soon as you do, it counts as putting a module on it. And so it's really easy to rank this up just by randomly attaching weird modules in weird places on your ship. And then deleting them after you're done. So So two real easy things to level up. The starship design isn't normally as useful unless you are planning to build your own ship. The installation of experimental ship modules and that sort of stuff is helpful for upgrading ships that you can capture, though. And since we are going to be looking next week at capturing an upgraded ship, because we definitely want to get a Class C high-powered ship, since we're going to be focusing on doing that next week, we will make sure that we have all the possible upgrades for it when we end up capturing it. But for us to capture it, we're going to have to unlock the ability to pilot those Class C ships. Or else, once you clear everybody out that's on board, it will not let you pilot it. It won't let you take off in it. So those are two things that I will do off stream here, and then we will jump back into the stream next week with trying to get us a ship upgrade and also getting us some weapon and armor upgrades. Remember, we went and bought from vendors the highest tiered weapons that we can have, as well as the highest tiered armors that we can have. But these are just regular armors. These are not rare, epic, or legendary versions of these. So we will pop into next week with getting some gear upgrades and ship upgrades to better be able to handle the Starborn ambushes that we're going to be subjected to now that we have progressed the main storyline quest up to this point. Because again, like I say, you don't want to be hopping around these level 75 systems in the Star Eagle. You are just going to get killed. There's just no other way around it. You are just going to get shredded. So we are definitely going to spend a little time doing some upgrades, and I will do some prep work to make sure that I have found the correct, or the planets that we want to focus on, and the points of interest that we want to focus on as well, because there's a really easy point of interest that once you find it, the end enemy, the highest level enemy in the point of interest, is really easy to get to and is really easy to kill, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time clearing out a whole cave system or interior of a building system to find him. He's just sitting in a building you can just walk right up to, and that gives you an option to clear everybody else out around him and then save and try and disable him right there and get some good gear off of him. So I will find one of those POIs and have it saved and ready so that we can kind of jump right in and not spend a bunch of time just wasting around trying to find a planet that has a ship in it. So the last thing I want to do is, we are here in the basement. You saw this right at the beginning of the stream. Here we have the Mark 1 armor display case here. So we've talked about this thing before, right? That you can get yourself into a spot here. It's this side, where you can see through the gap in the panel. I thought it was this side, where you can see through the gap in the panel and unlock this without, there it is, without, you can open up the mannequin and pull the armor out of here without unlocking the actual lock. The Mark 1 armor is supposedly one of the better armors that you can get. However, because you have this ability here to see into it, this is not like the Mantis armor where it sets its stats when you unlock it. This one was set a long time ago, and the stats just are not great. It is a low-leveled version compared to anything else that you are going to come up with. So comparing all of these to the superior suits that I'm wearing, there's no comparison here. There just isn't. So the Mark 1 spacesuit that you pick up here and the Mark 1 pack and all of these, you can see the comparison is just so much lower in its stats than the superior set of armor that you have. So the Mark 1 set is not worth picking up in the game instead of picking up something like the Mantis set, which you can do really, really early on. So the Mark 1 is here. It does have a, somewhat cool look to it, but again, the stats are just horrible. The only way I'm going to get better armor now than what I have with this superior armor that I bought from the vendor is if I go through New Game Plus. Now, the issue with that is that the Starborn armors that you get, to get base stats that are better than superior armor, you're going to have to get to New Game Plus 6 before the base stats of the Starborn armor you get are better than superior. So in other words, if I went through New Game Plus right now and got the Starborn armor, that would be a really good set of armor, but it would very quickly be outclassed by refined and advanced armors, let alone superior armors in the game. It's like finding the Mantis set. It's great for a little bit, but once you've leveled up and got access to the superior stuff, it's way outclassed. Once you get to New Game Plus 6, then the Starborn armor is better than superior. So the superior armors that you get, these are the best armors that you're going to have for almost every playthrough that you do, unless, like I say, you're just spamming New Game Plus to get the Starborn armor sets as you go up through them. So our armor is the best set we're going to have. Our weapons are the best set we're going to have. It's just now getting legendary versions of these that are going to have additional perks on them that are upgrades over these versions. So we would be looking for Superior Trackers Alliance, Superior Mercenary, Superior Bounty Hunter, Superior Explorer that are the legendary versions of them. That will be the only way that we'll be able to get similar stats but have better perks that go along with them. And that's what we're going to be focusing on the next time that we come back. So as a reminder, a week from now, the same time, we'll be doing another Starfield live stream. And this weekend will be our first set of live streams for Baldur's Gate 3 of the new year. And we're going to be doing some character respecking and that sort of stuff on those. So feel free to join in on those as well. But with that, I think we've gotten to a good ending point for the evening. So as always, I'd like to thank you all for coming along on our journey this evening. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.